Hi, everyone, and welcome to week 4 of Devtoberfest. This is actually the last day of Devtoberfest 2024, and we have an exciting session coming up. It's about how to create an SAP Fiori app using an ABAP business object. And I have with me today Ian and Yuval. So without further ado, I hand it over to you and have fun.
Okay, thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Yuval Morad. I'm a product owner and business application studio, and with me is Ian Quigley. And together, we will share with you the new functionality of creating a SAP Fiori application based on another business object. So just a few slides just to that you'll see what's the topic, why we need it, what it is, and how to go through the flow. So the motivation is we would like to enhance the business scope of BTP extensions so that you will be able to create more and more BTP applications based on existing SAP delivered services. Now, there are not so much business services, so you could create your own custom business services based on SAP delivered business object. And this is exactly the solution that we want to help you and enable that flow from the build code and with Fiori tools. So you will be able to create your own custom UI service from the cloud if you have Business Application Studio or Build Code, and generate your own custom UI service, and then create a Fiori application based on your own custom service. So the steps for the flow involves an administration task, an administrator task, and the demo that we will show you together as a developer, how could you create such an application. So from the user flow, the how is you need to connect the S4 public cloud and BTP. Next year, you will be able to have that flow also on the private cloud. Then you explore SAP delivered business object in the service center in Build Code, Business Application Studio. Next is you generate the UI service, your own custom UI service based on that business object. And the last step is that you create your own Fiori app and deploy it wherever you like, either to BTP or back to your S4HANA. So we will add some links how to do these things from a setup and the formal documentation in Build Code, in Fiori tools, and also if you like to do the custom development in ADT, then you have that blog also there. I'll show you the formal documentation is here, the complete scenario of integrating and connecting BTP and S4 Cloud is documented here in the steps. There are 3 major administrator tasks that needs to be done. And I want to show you the screen of them before we start the demo. So you need to subscribe to Business Application Studio or to Build Code. So you should, in the cockpit, have that. If you're not familiar with it, this is Business Application Studio. You need to have it in your BTP account. Yeah? Or you could have a Build Code, and within Build Code, you also get the Business Application Studio. One of the two you should have to develop in the cloud. Then next is that after you have that development environment, you should create the right destination that connects the two, the BTP and the S4. So they need to talk, these two environments. So on one side, on the BTP, you need to create a destination based on XAML assertion authentication. This is explained step by step in the documentation, but this is one thing you need to do. And you see here the link to the development tenant of the S4. So it's important you are a developer. So you need to connect to your development tenant. On the other side, on the S4 side, then there are 2 things that you need to set up. The first thing, and this is again explained here in the step-by-step, but I want to show you these 2 important screenshots. So the first thing is you need under the communication management to create a communication system and upload your certificate of the BTP, so of your own account. If you see here the signing certificate is of my demo BTP account. It's from here. You could download Trust from the destination, and you see it's the same account. So you just click download Trust from the same destination view and upload it to the S4. So this is one thing. And the second thing, you need to have your user. So when you connect BTP and S4 with XAML assertion, it needs to identify your logged in user. You need to have a business user and assign the relevant roles. The first role is you as a developer, so you'll be able then to run the app and develop the app. And the second, we will show a flow of bank list. So the business role that is relevant for a bank to be shown. Of course, if you develop something else, then you need the other application role. So these are the steps. There are formal documentation for the Business Application Studio, how to explore Business Object, for the Fiori tools, how to generate UI and all of this, and for the ADT, if you work with a different environment. So all of this is will be attached to the flow. So the first thing, after you have the Business Application Studio, you need to have a Fiori dev space. So yeah, show it to you here. I created a Fiori dev space, and just a minute to log in. Yeah. So let me log in. Lost the session. So here you could create the Fiori dev space. There are different types of dev space. You need to choose the Fiori because this is what we develop now, a Fiori application. So the next, after you already have your dev space created, then you can create a project. It is uploaded, Business Application Studio, and you need to create a project. There are two ways to create a project. One is you just create plus here, new project. We'll create it now, bank project. Then it's being created. It's an empty folder, but it's the basis for the Fiori application. And you'll see your storyboard that reflects the outline of your project. We see here actually nothing for now. The other way to create a project, if you have Build Code, is from the lobby. So you log in to the lobby if you have Build Code, and then you press Create, Build Application, Build Code, and then choose Fiori, give it a name, and then you're navigated back to Business Application Studio. The same thing, you reach the same result here. Then we click plus to add an external resource, and we look for the service center view is open, and we look for a service. So the system that we are connected to is this system that we have a destination to, this FOI with a XAML assertion. This would be the system, and we'll search for it here. And we look for a service, and we want to create an application based on bank service. Now, let's imagine that we didn't see any bank service in that system. Let's search for it. And of course, we see a lot of bank service that Ian and myself created in advance, but assume that we don't have any service and we want to create a new one. By the way, the last one, remember it, it's number 11. So what would we do? Then we could explore SAP delivered business object now, and this is a new functionality here. And we can connect to the same system, the FOI with XAML authentication, and look for different business object. For example, this is business partner, okay? And I can see the details of the business partner, the different entities here. And I can see in some cases even information about each entity. In the future, soon we plan to really enhance that view with properties, and you'll see what would come out of a future generated service. In our case, we're going to bank, and in bank, we have less entities. We have the bank address, and these are the entities that we have. The same is available in API Hub. So you could see in API Hub the same thing under Explore Business Object and have that bank information. And this is the application we want to use, and we want to generate out of this bank a UI service, custom UI service. The way to do it is to click Add to Project, and then it should be added to our storyboard, to the external resource. And here I will hand over to Ian to continue with the demo and really add it to the project and show you how to generate a custom UI service.
Thanks, Yuval. So thanks, Yuval. As Yuval mentioned, he's brought you as far as how you can potentially create a new UI service from a business object and add that to your existing Fury project. So I'm at the same point Yuval was at, where I've chosen the bank TP business object. I can see the entity details. And now when I click Add to Project, we launch a new UI service generator, which should allow us to create a new UI service based on this business object, and then add it to my Fury application and hopefully generate something at the end. So if you are at all familiar with Fury deployment logic, this is very similar here. So within ABAP deployment logic, we allow customers to choose the package of the transport request that they need. They can do it a number of ways. They can either enter one manually or choose from existing. Let's choose from existing. And similar to Eclipse, ABAP in Eclipse, you need to type in 3 characters, and then it will start searching for you. Here's a package we've already created, Devtoberfest. How do you want to enter your transport request? We can either choose from existing, create new, or enter manually. Let's create a new one, why not? And it'll go to the back end, create a new one. And then it creates a new service name. And this service name is not editable. So what's happening at the front end is, as the user is providing these details, we are making API calls to the ABAP backend. And the suggested new service name is 012. You might have seen that Yuval already showed you as far as 011. So this should be the new service that hopefully gets created as part of the UI service generator. Because what we're generating is always a V4 service, you have the option of whether you want this to be draft enabled or not. Let's say yes. And you can optionally automatically create a Fury application immediately after you've generated the new service. We're not going to do that. I want to show you it added to the storyboard and then use the storyboard to generate my Fury application. So let's click Finish. Now, this can take some time, depending on the ABAP backend system. It can take from 30 seconds to multiple minutes.
And in the ADT side, Ian, now the artifacts are generated, right?
If I go in here and I do a refresh here, we should see the service definitions coming in. You can see number 12 has come in there, as you mentioned, Yuval. So it is generating in the back end, as you say.
That's nice.
Okay, great. So now I get a confirmation message up that the UI service ZUI Bank TP12 has been created successfully. So now if I navigate back to my storyboard, which Yuval already showed you, I should now see that I have a new external resource added to my project, which is this newly created UI service. And if I go into my project folder, I can see that I have a .service.metadata file now installed or included in my project. So I can see all the metadata details for that service that I created has now been added to my storyboard project. And now that I actually have a service, I can go ahead and create a UI application from that service by clicking on the plus button. And this then launches the SAP Fury Generator, which allows you to choose which template type you want. Let's choose a list report. We're going to choose bank as our main entity because the storyboard already has details of a service, so we don't have to choose a data source or a service. We will use the one that's already in the project. We can optionally add table columns if they don't already exist, but I think in this case they do exist, so we should be fine. There are UI annotations already for this service created, and you can choose the table type, which would be responsive by default. You click next. Let's give it an application. Let's give it a title, excuse me. Choose a UI5 version. Then you can optionally choose items such as deployment configuration, whether to add Launchpad configuration, and there's advanced options around TypeScript support and versions of UI5 and themes, etc. So let's add deployment configuration because I want to deploy this as part of this flow. I click next. And now I should be asked to choose my my target and my destination, and it knows enough to know that my service already points to something on this demo SAML destination. Let's give it a name. Oktoberfest, and the package, let's choose the same package. Again, it's the same logic as I mentioned when you're generating a UI service, and let's choose from existing, let's choose our transport request that we created as part of generation, and I click finish. So now what the Fury Generator does is it installs the Fury application directly into the storyboard, and you can already see that it's included here. And it installs the Node.js libraries that are needed for that application. When the application finishes installing, you get what we call the application information page up, which basically details all the items that are included in this generated application, the service we use, version of UI5, etc., what pages are involved, and also a list of tiles for actionable items that we can do to either maintain or deploy this application. So in this case, what I want to do is I want to preview what we've generated so you can see our new UI service in action. So I clicked on the preview tile and chose the first option. It should open a new browser tab called My Bank Application. And when I click go, it should have data in there. Okay, so again, this is just a demo of how we've taken a business object and created a new UI service from it. And if I click on an individual list item, then I get the object page associated with that, some details in it. Okay, so that's a local preview of my application. So what I've done so far then is I've generated my UI service, I've added that to the storyboard, and then I've created a Fury application from that. So what I'd like to do now is potentially deploy my application to the back end. I did already add deploy configuration, so I should just be able to click on this deploy tile. And I'll get a confirmation window up. I click yes. It should start deployment. And deployment was successful. So now if I go back into my ABAP view, and I go into my BSP applications and I click refresh, I should see another one in here, which has been deployed with Fury tools. So that's an end-to-end example of how I took a UI service, created a new UI service from a business object, and then added that to the storyboard, and then created a Fury application from that, and then finally deployed it to the ABAP backend at the end.
That's great. Yeah, and Ian, I think that it's your decision if to deploy it back to the ABAP or to the BTP HTML5 repo app and create a BTP extension. It's your decision. With the Fiori tools, you can do both, right? So
exactly, yes.
All right. Thanks, guys. That was awesome. So thanks, everyone, for watching this session. And thanks for watching all the Devtoberfest sessions. As I mentioned in the beginning, this is the final day of Devtoberfest. So thanks a lot, Ian and Yuval, for closing it out in style. We actually do have an interesting session coming up. It's Spooktoberfest. Well, it's not so much a session. It's more going on for the whole day. But, you know, Spooktoberfest, the hint is sort of in the name, you know, share the scariest thing or pig or whatever you can think of, you know, for Halloween. And yeah, with that, thanks everyone for watching. Thanks Yuval and Ian. And
you.
I hope you enjoyed all the
Thank you.
Devtoberfest sessions. And we hope to see you back next year. See you on the SAP Developers channel throughout the year as well. And with that, bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.